Hi, this is Mark Neese with SyncLab Media. Welcome to this week's Digital Marketing Today. We're with Fanny Dunagan, and we'll be right back. And welcome back to Digital Marketing Today. Really excited to have Fanny Dunagan with us today from PathLinks.
Yes,
thank you so much. Yeah, I know you're very busy and really appreciate you making time to come by and talk to us today. So if there happens to be anyone who doesn't know who you are, I mean, you're everywhere, right? So just in case there's people that don't know who you are, tell us a little bit about yourself and your background and kind of how you got to where you are now with PathLinks.
Sure, yes. So, my name is Fanny Dunagan. I co-founded PathLinks, which actually has gone through a lot of transformations. We went from organizing job fairs and doing social media marketing to now very full-on into helping individuals and team leaders with video content for LinkedIn to build their professional brand as well as their employer brand. So we do coaching as well as leadership workshops around that. Yeah.
So what kind of led you to that space, right?
Yeah, so long and windy road, but I'll summarize it in that I used to do change management communications and training for IT implementations for aerospace and defense industry. So I was always kind of like in technical industries, but doing communications and training. But that required all kinds of travel, and when I wanted to become a mom, I decided to stay home for a while, and when I came back to it, I ended up helping a local outreach center with their job fairs. And from there, promoting it, bringing employers together, job seekers together, and that led me to do tons of social media marketing to promote these events. And that's when I really fell in love with LinkedIn and doing video content and video marketing campaigns.
Isn't that strange how things happen?
It is. I know. But I've loved it. I think I used to judge myself around having such a windy path. But I think it was just a matter of every season has its own thing. And so I had my corporate life, and then I had my stay-at-home mom life, and now I have my kind of entrepreneurial life. And it's been wonderful. Yeah.
Cool. Oh, sorry. My phone's sitting on the desk and it started going off inadvertently, so I have to get rid of that. Sorry, guys. One of the things that I really enjoy, like a lot of the content you put out, is around the kind of in the job arena, like people that are maybe in transition or maybe still employed but looking for a new opportunity, and how do they find that. And one of the things that when I have an opportunity to speak with people like that, one of the things that we always try to stress is the importance of them having like their own identity or their own brand outside of maybe whatever company they work for. So particularly with the job market now and the way that's going, how do you coach people on how to navigate that?
Yes. I think it all starts with finding a problem and then you being the solution, or you offering solution to it. So whether you're in IT or whether you're in HR or supply chain or manufacturing or whatever, finance, whatever your field of expertise is, asking yourself, like, what are the top 10 frequently asked questions I always get, right? Like, what do people always ask me about? Why are they seeking me out for help? And then creating video content around that. And if you're not comfortable getting on video yet, creating written content around that. Because at the end of the day, people want their problems solved, right? Like, what's keeping them up? And if you're providing tips and advice and best practices and different methodologies around that, then that's a way of like showing what you can do, what you know, your expertise. And then from there, they're like, who is this person, like, telling me tips around how to staff better or how to project management better or anything like that. And then that's when they start to scope out your profile and like find out exactly who you are and what your expertise is, and then that's how you get in with piquing people's curiosity and then offering solutions to their problems.
Mm-hmm.
So I think always find what are the big problems or big questions in your industry, and from there offering advice and value around that.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a great place to start.
Yeah, that's really good advice,
Mm-hmm.
and I think a lot of people overlook that. They're just concerned about just populating their profile with this is what I've done, and you know, this is what I know, and this is how many certifications I have, and you know, and all that kind of stuff.
And we have resumes for that, and
Right.
LinkedIn profiles for that.
Mm-hmm.
The best way I've heard it described is your resume and your LinkedIn profile tells people what you do,
Mm-hmm.
but like video content and written content tell people who you are,
Mm-hmm.
right? They can see your energy, your dynamism, your personality, right? So, you know, it's like a picture is worth 1,000 words. Well, a video is worth 1,000,000 words.
Right.
And in like 1 minute of a video of you, somebody can see whether they gravitate to you or not.
Right.
And especially if you're offering value around that, in addition to them getting a feel for you, then you're kind of like halfway in the door already.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So I'll start a thought, and then maybe we'll take a little bit of we'll kind of pique people's interest, and then take a little bit of a break and come back to it. But people that you work with, what are some of the biggest challenges or roadblocks, or maybe that they put up that they have to get over?
Well, firstly, getting on video.
Mm-hmm.
Taking that big gulp, and I think a lot of times they don't know where to start, and then also just like really hesitating because they're afraid of the judgment or afraid to put themselves out there. Even though a lot of times the professionals that I interact with, they can very easily go up to the front of a room and give a PowerPoint presentation and stand in front of a crowd and do that. But then as soon as you point a video at them, then they kind of, they hesitate, right, and get scared. But I think a big thing that I remind people of is that at the end of the day, we all have value. We all have something to say. We wouldn't have made it as far into our career as we would have if we didn't. And I think so start from there. Like, we all have value to give, and there's always somebody that we can help.
Okay. So when we come back, we'll get into the solutions around that.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I have some ideas
Yes.
about that as well.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes.
we are going to take just a short break here in a moment. But first, one of the things that we do every week on our shows is we feature a local artist and a particular piece of artwork by that local artist. So our artist this week is C.J. Cowden, and she's represented by David Call of David Call Design. He's actually placed artwork all around the Venture X Dallas by the Galleria location here. There's 3 artists, about 30 different pieces of artwork. So those are all on view right now, and the current work that we have in our studio is called Genesis 1-1. Again, by C.J. Cowden. She's a great local artist, so stop by Venture X Dallas by the Galleria, come by, say hi to us, and take a tour around. We actually have a kind of a catalog of sorts up by the front desk that talks about all the different pieces of artwork and who the artist is and kind of some background behind those. You can actually pick up at the front desk and then walk around the entire facility and learn about the artwork, kind of like a little gallery. So it's really cool. So come check it out. And they are all for sale if you're looking for some great artwork. So that's our Artist of the Week. And now we're going to take a quick break and recognize our sponsor for today's program. And we'll be right back with more Fanny Dunagan. And welcome back to Digital Marketing Today. We're having a great conversation with Fanny Dunagan from Pathlinks. So before our break, we were kind of talking about some of the common challenges, roadblocks people put up to kind of diving into this whole video content thing. So we deal with that a lot of times with clients also. And just, it's important for consumers to see kind of the face and the personality and behind a business so that they can really connect with them. But even with that, sometimes we get a little bit of that pushback, from clients that, well, I don't want to be on camera. So, we may hire a spokesperson, to be a spokesperson for them, or maybe figure out another different, type of video content. But I know that it can be a big thing with individuals as well, particularly if people have never done much public speaking or gotten up in front of people. It's like the camera goes on and they just kind of freeze in front of the camera. So how do you, I know we have some techniques that we kind of use to get people comfortable with doing that, but what are some of the tricks that you use to help people get through that?
I think one thing I do sometimes is I literally sit down and just have a conversation with them. So I love finding out about people, very curious about people. And so we literally sit down side by side and then I just have a conversation with them. And I ask them questions that I think their typical client might want to know the answer to. And so from there, it's just a recording of a conversation. So I think that helps to relax them a bit, even though a camera's there, but they're talking to me and we have eye contact, kind of like right now.
Sure.
Right? Yeah. So that's one way, is just to make it about a conversation. Another way I do is I try to find something that they're passionate about, or I ask a question that's almost not work related. So something around what is one tip that you might give your former self, or what is an advice that you might give to a college graduate. So something very almost non-threatening, non-technical, and I think the best kind of content comes from the heart. And I find that those kind of questions that have them pull out a memory or pull out some piece of advice that they'd like to share or pull out some learning lesson, I think those really connect with audiences and builds trust and builds relationships. So that's a second way. And then probably the third way is, I call this focusing out instead of focusing in. So when I'm focusing in, then I'm worrying about everything. Am I talking too fast? Am I using my hands too much? How do I look? And those are all focusing in thoughts. And I always say focus out instead, and picture your ideal client, picture the ideal person that you want to help, and then have a conversation with them. And so make it all about that person, make it all about helping that one person out there in the social media world that really needed to hear that tip or that advice or that thought from you. And then make it all about them, focusing out. So I find those three ways, I think, sometimes help to calm people down a bit, and then we go from there.
Sure. Yeah. I think, you mentioned earlier about, a lot of times people that are, maybe have some type of experience getting up in front of a group of people or presenting a PowerPoint or something like that. A lot of times we encourage people to, even though they may be using us for some of their production, we really encourage them to produce their own content as well. So we have what we call a 3-tiered content approach. And kind of that medium and lower tier, one of the suggestions we give to them is so make a PowerPoint and convert that PowerPoint to video.
Oh, yes.
And then all you have to do is script some words and record that. And it's pretty easy to put that kind of stuff together. It's kind of a low learning curve, and a lot of people are used to making presentations and things, and so it's an easy way sometimes for them to kind of break the ice and at least get some where they don't have to be on camera, right? And then once they get used to that,
Yeah.
then it seems like they get a little bit more comfortable with maybe trying out the webcam or the iPhone or something every once in a while.
Yeah. And actually, just to add on to that,
Mhm.
especially just for any job seekers out there, that's a great way to practice for interviews.
Mm-hmm.
Just you're in the privacy of your own room or office, whatever, and you just shoot yourself answering typical interview questions.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a great way to kind of like check yourself as to, when you play it back, did I come off kind of weird answering
Right.
that question? And because a lot of times we're our worst critic,
Sure,
right?
yeah.
But from there you can tweak your answers because
Right.
you get to kind of watch yourself back.
Yeah.
So that's another just quick tip for any job seekers out there.
Absolutely.
To use video
Yeah.
to practice for interviews.
I totally agree, and it's
Mm-hmm.
also a really good way to practice too. I mean,
Yes.
because a lot of times, even if you have an idea for a piece of content that you want to produce, if you just practice that 3 or 4 times,
Yeah.
then you get a lot more comfortable and you're delivering the message much more naturally,
Yes.
and it kind of comes off a lot better too. So
Yes. Yeah. Putting out video content, I think the only way through that is through practice.
And just do it. I mean,
Just do it.
Yeah.
Like every single hiccup. I mean, just the other day I was trying to record a video and I just kept on like, I don't know, just a bad day, just stumbling over every word that I was saying, and I just had to like really pause
Mm-hmm.
and then like quiet the brain and then just hit record again.
Well, we never
So-
make mistakes doing live.
No,
never,
not at
never
all,
any
not at
mistakes
all.
at all. No, it seems like every show there's something that goes on,
Yeah.
right? So,
I think at the end of the day, like, people appreciate humanness,
mhm.
right? Like, if anything, I think our whole society is moving towards more authenticity and vulnerability. And yes, we have bloopers, and yes, we stumble, but I think people want to hear the real us and the real imperfect us. And I think that resonates even more with audiences than some perfectly crafted,
Sure,
you know. I mean, there's quality is still very important,
Right.
but for those that are starting out, it's okay. Like,
Yeah.
you connect with audiences when you're real.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a place for it all. So
There really is.
So,
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Yes.
well, awesome. So if people want to, I know that you're readily available, but again, for those who may
Yeah.
not, who've been under a rock for the last 3 to 5 years, and so how can someone get a hold of you, contact you directly?
Yeah. LinkedIn.
Right?
Yes, just Fanny Dunagan. Think of the Asian with the Irish last name.
Okay, there you go.
That's easy enough to remember. And yeah, find me on LinkedIn. You'll probably come across a post that I do, and then we'll go from there. Send me a message there.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, this was a great conversation. Again, thank you so much
Thank you.
for stopping
Thanks
by.
for having me.
And since we've been talking about video content, for those of you who might be interested or know someone who could use some regular video content to promote their business, we are in our video podcasting studio here at Sync Lab Media. And
Great place.
thank you.
have,
And
yeah.
we do have subscription programs available that are geared towards small businesses and entrepreneurs to make a kind of a turnkey solution very affordable. So if you're interested, reach out to us at Sync Lab Media, and you can have your very own show, just like Digital Marketing Today. So so we're going to wrap it up for today. Again, thank you so much, Fanny.
Thank you,
Really
Mark.
appreciate you being here. It was
Appreciate
great.
it. Yeah.
And next week on Digital Marketing Today, we have Lila Smith showing up next
yes.
week. So
Awesome.
so I'm very
Love
excited
Lila.
about that as too.
Yes.
So talking about communication skills and messaging, and which is really
Absolutely.
important with everything. So thanks again for joining us today, and don't miss next week. We'll see you then on Digital Marketing Today.